Alrighty then, it is turkey stock canning day. I have a very large turkey carcass in here that I've had in my freezer, and I have 2 small chicken carcasses. And of course I've used from my chest freezer. As you know, I saved the discards of onions, celery, carrots. Instead of throwing in the trash, I freeze those discards so I have them to add to my stock. This is a very large stock pot, and it is going to cook away for several hours. And when it is time to can it, I'll bring you back and we'll see how many pint jars we get. It ain't hard, it's just canning. And these are things that I saved. This hasn't cost me anything. This was the turkey and chicken carcasses and discarded vegetables. Save $1. Alrighty then, here we are 6 hours in. I put 2 inches of water in the pot before I added my 2 turkey carcasses, 2 chicken carcasses, and 3 bags of discarded frozen vegetables. Look where we are. If this ain't a beautiful thing, everything coming off. Alrighty then, it has gone along for 8 hours, and now I need to strain all the solids out so I can get to my broth. It ain't hard, it's just canning. So while canning is not hard, setting up a camera for you to see is hard. So the first thing I'm gonna do is start with a food grade cheesecloth. Don't get some stuff your husband has out in the garage, okay, from the AutoZone. Don't do that. So this happens to just be a pot that this fits into perfectly, and I'm going to hang my cheesecloth over this, and hopefully you don't fall down, nothing bad happens, okay? It ain't rocket science. So I'm gonna start straining this through. I will go through a considerable amount of cheesecloth, but it is what it is because this is a beautiful, beautiful broth or stock. I don't know the difference, I don't much care. But I gotta get a spoon, and I'll move some of this off to the side so that I can proceed. You have all kind of things that you can use to strain your stocks. And ain't nobody knows how much broth I'm gonna get. But Lord. 2 turkey carcasses and a chicken carcass, several freezer bags of vegetable discards. Should be a groovy amount, and I'll run however many canner loads I need to run to get it through. If I can do it, you can do it. Ain't nothing but a mouse. So I'm gonna strain this along, but you get to see this part of the process, as people like to see. And then I'll come back and we'll start canning up some pint jars. And I use pint jars because we're just 2 old people. Pints work for me. If I need more, I just use 2 pints or more. But there cannot be, I do not like less than 50 chicken or turkey, poultry stocks and 50 beef stock on my shelves. It's just how I roll. You get a number that you're happy with and keep that many there. Because you're a canner, you can do it. So as I'm going around along to conserve my cheesecloth, I will wipe the solids to the side, then put them back into my pot on the far side of me. Because food grade cheesecloth is not cheap. It's not something that you want to use and then wash. That's just too icky for words, so I'm not even going there. And y'all know I will pinch a quarter till it bleeds. But I draw the line at some spots. So you will be surprised how quickly you fill up a stock pot with that beautiful broth. So at this point, I need Vern's Macho, okay, the hand known as the claw, because I need to get, if I can lift you up to where it won't be like you're drunk, to get these solids out of the way so that I can get the broth to the side. So there are times I require on the Vern Macho. Alrighty then, this is a beautiful thing. So I am going to take all the bones that are left over, the discards, and I'm going to dump these in my marsh because all the crabs, all the bait fish will eat these. I do not have alligators. If I had alligators, I would not do that, okay? Ain't nobody need to do that and keep gators around, but I don't have that. Whew, so glad. So my Presto canner holds 8 pints, so I'm gonna get 8 of ForJar lids in this boiling water. I got hot in my microwave. I'll flippy flop them. 2, 3, 4, the water hot. 5, 6, 7, 8. This way, it's easier to use my magic wand. And when I pick them up, they're not all stuck to each other. It ain't rocket science, just makes it easier. Okay, I'm a knuckle dragger, keep it simple, silly. It's what I am, what I do. So the first thing I'm gonna do is make my cheat sheet. I go to a trusted book. In this case, it was the Ball book, and it's gonna process for 20 minutes. My area is 10 pounds of pressure. I'm gonna use the weighted gauge. Some people call it a jiggler, but it is actually, the mechanism is 5 pounds, and then you put 1 ring on. If you up north where you gotta do 15 pounds, you would have a second ring. So I make my cheat sheet, the time I start my 10-minute vent for my Presto canner, then the time I get it up to the 10 pounds that I'm gonna process for 20 minutes. It ain't hard. And I'm also gonna inspect my lid. I have to make sure that this is together. It's 2 pieces. I can see through my vent pipe. If you can't and yours is tight, you can slide a toothpick in it. My emergency pressure release functions, and I don't have any issues with my ring. If I do, I always have 2 sets of an extra ring inside, and it comes with a new rubber pressure release, emergency release. So you don't have to worry about a pressure canner exploding on you, because it cannot happen because of this. I am not heating up my canner because I want to take everything out of this stock pot, get it into pint jars, so I can determine how many runs of my canner that I need. I use a bowl because I tend to be messy. That is not a great thing, but you know, it is what it is. So we're gonna start with the first jar. When I take them out of the dishwasher, Vern or I feel all around to make sure we don't have any issues just to start with. So we had 1 inch of headspace. Oh, in this color, this is a beautiful thing. Oh yeah. I cannot buy that stuff from the store because this is so flavorful. And because I am in the habit, whew, I just made a big splash, shocker. Where's my Pokey Joe? I start out with a super clean countertop and hands. I still Pokey Joe. It's just sort of muscle memory that no matter what I do that too. And we know that 1 inch is right underneath there, or on the end of your Pokey Joe, also known officially as a debubbler. It actually has your increments on it. So in our case, we are spot on, but we still want to wipe the rim of this jar to make sure nothing is stuck on it, because we don't want anything coming in between our ForJar lid, oops, and our jar. I'm the knuckle dragger. Y'all know how I do this who've watched me. I use the limp wrist method because it's fingertip tight. So it's hanging here, my fingers cannot turn more, so it won't be over tightened. So I'm gonna continue with these, and this broth is pretty. And after I fill up these jars, I will go dump all of my discards out there so that I can have bait fish and creatures visit off my dock for when I don't, want to, for when I do not want to go out in a kayak. And it has been so hot this summer, very, very unpleasant. Fishing and heat exhaustion or stroke is nowhere on my bingo card. So I'm gonna pass on that one. Again, I Pokey Joe it just for grins. I'm a Pokey Joer, it's who I am and what I do. All right, and we could use a little bit more so that we can get it right on. There we go. Now we're talking. So let's always wipe the rim of your jar. And again, my canner is not on because I'm not ready to turn it on. I have cleanup to do and stuff to take out to my marsh. So we use our magic wand, which simply has a magnet on the end. Get another ring, limp wrist. Can't turn any further. That felt weird, so I'm gonna twist it again. There we go. That felt better. You get to where it feels better to you. It ain't hard. It ain't rocket science. Take your time so that you do it right, because you want to be able to trust every jar that is in your pantry that you canned it safely and properly. So I'm going to carry on. You do something important. Alrighty, because I've got 8 pints and I won't have 8 pints to run a full canner load, I'm gonna go ahead and put it, or I have gone ahead and put it into my old-timey ice cube trays, because 9 cubes equals 1 cup. And I have some new sucky bags coming that I wanna try so that I can try and lower the cost on the vacuum sealer bags that I use, because costs of everything are out of control. I've seen wonderful reviews on out of air bags, so I'm gonna try those, and that's one of the reasons I'm putting this in my ice cube trays. Then I'm gonna set it on a cookie sheet and put it in my freezer drawer. So, and I just have to make sure that Vern doesn't go to jerk open that door. But then I'll be able to take these out when they're frozen, and when my new out of air sucky bags get here, test them on putting these in there, because I need to save $1 somewhere, because I am way tired of the expense of everything. I am absolutely flabbergasted that I lived to be 67. Wait, I can get a little bit more on this one. And things are almost unpurchasable. It's just crazy, crazy insane. But that's also why I can, and we buy things on sale and then we can them, particularly meats, is so that the things that are in our pantry shelf, it's a way of inflation proofing your pantry, in that they're in there and we paid less for it. I may not use it for 1 year or 2 years, but it will be the lowest price I could have gotten at then. So now, before I start my canner, I'm gonna throw away all my canning rag, throw them away. I'm gonna put them in the washing machine. I'm going to sterilize my Pokey Joe and the things I have used, and get those into their canning place, their little holy place that they sit free of dirt, dust, and any funkification. And then I'll take a break, go dump my load out at the marsh. Well, wait, no, that'll be like 2.5 hours when the tide's out. Anywho, then I will get my canner load running. There ain't no hurry. My things are sitting here safely put away. 8 pints of turkey stock and 2 ice cube trays going in the freezer. Save $1, and I didn't have to buy any of the discards. They were our own turkey carcasses, our own chicken carcasses. Now I have to start reaccumulating the discards, the onion, the celery, the carrots, again, so that the next time I'll be doing beef stock, or I might be doing this again. Ain't nobody know. So anyway, I'm gonna get to getting, and then I'll bring you back when I start the canner. I've got my area set up where I'm gonna put my jars. Even though I hadn't started my canner yet, I'm all ready for where I'll put them when they're processed after 20 minutes. Alrighty then, I have my canner lid on with my little V's lined up, and now it needs to come up to get hot, and then this little thing will start jiggle, 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 and then at some point it will raise up, and then I start timing from this vent pipe 10 minutes of steam. It ain't hard. Okay, my canner is starting to get jiggy. It's getting very hot inside, and I'll just keep an eye on it before I start my 10 minutes until my vent lock cover pops up. It ain't hard, just know your canner. So you can see the steam coming from my vent lock cover, and I take this opportunity because I'm a Presto with a rubber gasket to check all around that I don't have any water dripping. Now it's starting to get jiggy, it's gonna start popping along, and I cannot start that 10-minute vent time until this vent lock cover comes up. And this little canner I've had since 2012, take good care of it, and it just trucks along. I'm going to now turn on my vent hood so it can start pulling some of the steam out, because when that 10-minute venting starts, that'll be a lot of humidity to put into my room. Don't need that, but I need to can 8 pints of this turkey and chicken stock, and that is a good thing. A lot of people, when they get a canner, get scared when this starts happening. Ain't nothing wrong with it. And you can see there's a little steam coming out of the vent pipe. That's your vent pipe. That's your vent lock cover. And the little black in the back is your emergency relief valve. Make sure you read your canner manual. Mine has a mark inside for where my water level goes, so there is water in there, which is why we have steam coming out. And if I had a leak around the edge, that water could completely evaporate if I'm not paying attention. Well, and whoop, there it is. So now I'm gonna write down the time and set a timer for my 10 minutes of steam coming out of that vent pipe. It's noisy. This is, I've kept my manual. This is what a Presto comes with, a regulator. Nothing wrong with using that. I choose to use the weighted gauge. So this is what I will put on that vent pipe when my 10 minutes is up for that venting. It's not easy to see the steam coming out of the vent pipe, but it is a steady stream, and you can hear the racket of the canner. All right, my 10 minutes is up, so now I'm gonna put my weighted gauge on my vent pipe because it vented for 10 minutes, but you do not start your 20-minute processing time now because your dial gauge needs to come up to the proper pressure for your area. Mine is 10 pounds, it's really 11. And then I can start processing, putting my timer and writing down the time for 20 minutes. But in that entire 20 minutes, you'll need your dial gauge to not drop back below 0 so that you have a true 20 minutes, in my case, 10 pounds for my area, whatever the pound for pounds of pressure for your altitude is, you need to hold that for the entire processing time. And this time it's just 20 minutes because it's turkey or chicken stock. Well, it's actually both, but it's poultry stock. Okay, so your dial gauge will start climbing up, and then it's up to you to hold it. I know my stove well enough, and I know that if I put the burner, in this case propane burner, between low and medium, it will hold that 10 pounds for me with no problem. It ain't hard, don't make it hard. If it drops below your pressure, you simply get it back up to pressure, start timing your 20 minutes again. All is not lost. All right, so Vern brought me the macho because I have to move my canner off of my super burner and put it on this one. So you can see where my dial gauge is, it's right at 11. And then this, my weighted gauge, will start to jiggle along. So I'm gonna set a timer and write the time down right now because I've reached my poundage and I need to process for 20 minutes. So don't give up on ever figuring out what to keep your burner on, whether it's gas, propane, electric, or flat. Don't give up on it. You'll find that sweet spot where you can hold that poundage that you need. It will happen. Just keep an eye on it. Don't go outside. Don't leave your room. Just stay focused. It's just 20 minutes to ensure I have a safe product on my shelf. Not a big sacrifice. Alrighty, my timer went off for the 20 minutes. I held my pressure. Now all I do is turn the heat off, and I need the dial gauge to go all the way to 0. Then I'll wait 10 minutes before I take off my weighted gauge and open the canner to remove the jars. So I need the pressure to go all the way down to 0. Alrighty then, my vent lock cover dropped down. Now I'm gonna set a timer for 10 minutes. Then I'll open the canner and take out my 8 pints. Not hard. All right, our 10 minutes has passed. So we are gonna open our canner and take out our jars. It's gonna be very hot. Open it away from you because hot water is gonna be dripping off the top. Okay, everybody looks like they sealed. When you take your jars out, do not tip them. Even though there is water on the top of this, it's not gonna bother anything. Alrighty, so we got 8 pints, and don't be alarmed if your lids are loose, your rings. Alright, we got 8 pints safely canned. Don't be alarmed if your rings are loose. That's a normal occurrence. So they're gonna sit here on my table for 24 hours. Then tomorrow I'll wash them and put them away. They're not as dark as usual because I didn't have as many onion skins. But none of the lids are going or doing anything stupid. So all good in my chicken and turkey broth hood.